God's will is individually your will. Welcome to the New Spirit radio show by the Society of Novus Spiritus, founded by world-renowned spiritual teacher Sylvia Browne. Well, I'm going to state that it's June 21st of 2023. We're coming to you live from California. Both NorCal and SoCal are your hosts, Reverend Tom Bigley and Reverend Catherine Taylor. Thank you. Playing audio segments
I
we
love it.
call messages from spirit. Why? Answering the ultimate question: why are we here, and what is our purpose?
These segments are recorded trance sessions from Francine, Sylvia's spirit guide. So for new people, Sylvia was a full trance medium, which means Sylvia contracted to let her and Francine's essences exchange places in Sylvia's body. And we think of our bodies being similar to a car, where one driver gets out and another driver gets in. This allowed Francine to share spiritual knowledge with us directly from the other side.
On occasion, another master teacher and healer, a guide named Rahim, would exchange with Sylvia and present us with spiritual information as well. Francine and Rahim shared directly from sources like the Akashic Records, Mother and Father God, our spirit guides, Christ, and many others.
And meanwhile, during trance, Sylvia would sit on a nice bench in a rose garden on the other side.
And here are our hosts, Reverend Catherine Taylor and Reverend Tom Bigley.
Hello, nice to
Howdy
see
do.
you.
Yeah, we're here. We made it. The audio sounds better than it did 5
Audio
minutes
sounds better. That's amazing. Y'all, it sounded like some vuvuzelas up at Tom's place. Sound like
Yep.
a herd of cattle outside. Just like
Let's see. So, for those of you that are new, we've got a quick agenda.
yes.
Let's see. What is our agenda? Our agenda says we do. I start off with some announcements, and then we like to share how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy in the last week. And for those of you that have been here before, now's a fun time to start typing in what how did you use Novus philosophy in the last week. Let's see. We'll get into special prayers. Then we'll share the trance segments where we educate each other. Then we participate in a meditation if you like. And then I'll talk a little bit about closing notes. Then we get into a special prayer service called a novena. Everybody's welcome to participate, and I will describe more about that later. Then we get into some appreciation, and then we conclude with a prayer by Sylvia. Now, this is my. Would like to light a candle for getting that energy out and saying, "Hey, we're here," and it should keep working.
Fabulous.
So let's see. We did a special. Wow. Okay. Why do we have start? Oh, that's why. Because it says announcements. Let's see. So real quick, do share, promote, like, subscribe, and click on the bell so that you're notified when we go live. Because occasionally it takes us an extra minute or two. You can also donate. Go directly to the website and post a donation if you like, or you can purchase something by calling the office. Those are some of the helpful ways of donating. Also, let's see, because I think this is still going, because I haven't actually gone to look. But hi, Tom Bigley. Don't miss this chance to take advantage of our limited time Ask Chris Question special. This special won't last, so act now. Go to chrisrightnow.com. And again, you probably didn't get this email because you're not Tom Bigley. However, go to chrisrightnow.com to see if that special is still active. Let's see. We already spoke about that. Oh, now, I mentioned Flag Day the last week. And so this week, do we have something else that is on our calendar?
As a matter of fact, we do. It is a very, very special week, one of my favorite times of year. It is Alms Feast Day coming up this weekend on the and Jesus' historical birthday, as we've been told by Francine. And those days are on the 25th and 26th. of this month. And so, in honor of that, I wanted to share a reading of the real translation of the Lord's Prayer,
Oh,
which is
where's
marvelous.
that from?
So that is from Francine Rahim, giving us
Oh, thank you.
yes, giving us the Aramaic translation. So even though the Bible, a lot of the Bible is we know is written, some parts are written in Greek, some parts are written in Hebrew, and some parts are written in Aramaic. The spoken words of Jesus at that time was Aramaic, and so this is the Aramaic translation of the prayer that was as is relayed to us from Francine and Rahim. So,
Do you remember the source of that? Where
I
do you get the text from?
I got the text from going through the Novus Spiritus files on the old computers that were from 1995.
Oh, okay, cool. Just trying to see if we can reference the text where that came from. So cool.
Yeah. But when you hear it, it's so mystical. There's no, it's unquestionable. So amazing. So I will post these on Facebook as well as message people on YouTube if you're a subscriber. So, and in the meantime, I'll read it right now. It's the Lord's Prayer from Aramaic translation. O cosmic birther of all radiance and vibration, soften the ground of our being and carve out a space within us where your presence can abide. Fill us with your creativity so that we may be empowered to bear the fruit of your mission. Let each of our actions bear fruit in accordance with our desire. Endow us with the wisdom to produce and share what each being needs to grow and flourish. Untie the tangled threads of destiny that bind us as we release others from the entanglement of past mistakes. Do not let us be seduced by that which would divert us from our true purpose, but illuminate the opportunities of the present moment. For you are the ground and the fruitful vision, the birth, power, and fulfillment, as all is gathered and made whole once again. Amen.
Wow. That's fascinating. That's
Remarkable.
that's that's really nice. Thank you
Mm-hmm.
for sharing that.
Absolutely.
And in the meantime, I have to. That other candle went poof. All right, we got a lit candle here. Nice. We got a published poster or yeah, identify where you found that so we that's a reference point and that would be fun play something fun to because I hadn't heard that in a while. Obviously it was in a sounded like that was from a trance or something of that nature.
Yeah, I'll I'll be happy to see if I can find it. I don't know if I've heard it in trance yet. I
Yeah.
just know that I found it in the things on the old ancient computer, and I was like, "Oh my goodness gracious, that is incredible!" So,
Let's see. Where do we got? Oh, so we've got um which comes first? Oh, which comes first? The it's is it Father Am's feast day is which date?
I'm pretty sure it's the 25th.
So that puts them both in that.
I think, yeah, I
Okay.
think in my mind, just for simplicity purposes, they're the same day.
Okay.
But I
That
just,
sounds. That's what I thought.
yeah.
That's what it sounded right. It's just I'd never put the two together and say them
Mm-hmm.
together. It's like wait a minute. But yes, I
Mm-hmm.
think that sounds right. And so that's what this coming Sunday's, this coming July 1st, the first Sunday in July is going to be Father God feast day
It's beautiful.
celebration. So that's what I'll be
Yay! Some of my
posting
favorite
for.
times of year. I love it. It just the whole, just everything just feels good on these days where I've been aware of them. So
Cool.
looking forward to it. Oh, happy
Okay.
summer solstice too.
Oh yeah, all on. That is today. Holy cow! It's the 21st. Ooh,
Fabulous.
longest day of summer. So okay,
Mm.
does that mean the planets are supposed to all line up together too, and then we'll have a big convergence or something? Well, anyway, that's another.
I don't
Cool.
know.
So next is how did you use Novus Spiritus philosophy? So yes,
Hmm.
it's up to you to decide. You want to point fingers, or make a suggestion, or do rock, scissors, paper, or
I think it's your turn, so I'm gonna point my open palm in your direction as an invitation of what did you use in Novus
okay.
philosophy. I'd
All
love
right.
to hear.
So now, last week, what? Sorry, I had one thing, and now I see my notes says something else. So, um, last week I want to like go back and what was a conversation. It might have been like a Freudian slip last week. Um, I thought I heard, I thought I heard you say we Nova Spiritus condones racism, and I was like, did I hear that right? What? And I was like, okay, I let it go. So, so I just wanted to clarify: Nova Spiritus does
Condemns.
not. Yes, thank you. Condemns racism.
Condemns. Yes.
Um, so anyway, that was just a fun clarification for those of you that were listening last week and your hair stood up on the back of your neck. You're like, what? So just a clarification. And of course, by all means, if you hear something like that, tell us. It's we do the best we can to provide the information. On occasion, we do quote things, and quite a bit of what we talk about is from memory and our own experiences. As far as using Nova's philosophy. So you hear us say something that was like, "Hey, wait a minute! heard something different." So find us the reference, and we're happy to go back through it and clarify. So everybody's on the same, literally on the same page. So just fun
Absolutely.
things. I know occasionally I throw the wrong word out too because we're having, we're excited, we're
We
having
do the best
fun,
we
and
can. Yeah.
exactly. So anyway, that is my uh, use of Novus philosophy for this week.
A, a beautiful use of Novus philosophy. And to all my LGBT individuals out there, I give you a high five as we continue on Pride Month. Bam! And just as a just as a reminder there, in case anyone is curious, we go like Novus believes we go through a variety of lives as both male and female, and so it doesn't make any sense to get upset at someone for being LGBT. It just doesn't make any sense to us. It's just
Besides
no,
that, once we
no.
get to the other side, we're all in
No.
spirit form. Each of us has chosen whether we want to be um, a male entity or female entity, and it's we merge with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Absolutely.
there's no what's I'm trying to think of all the
There's no
fun words to
embarrassment or
yeah,
shame or
shame
anything.
and
It's like
no prejudice, no because it's an all think of an
it's
all loving environment, and it's on the other side we're not sexually active beings. It's more of from if you think of the movie Cocoon, I think it was, where they showed an actual the merge is just our essences blending so we can share our experiences, and there's no concern about what we think of as gender. So yeah, I could see it's like there's the and there. and it also, I think of as also, there's no definitive. You have to be male. You have to be female. You know, it's like there's no like or dislike. It's your personal encompassing.
Yeah. God loves wondrous variety, and here we are. Okay, so what did I use of Novus philosophy over this past week? I was thinking about the mystical traveler talk that we just started,
Yeah,
and thinking, just kind of reflecting on where I'm at. The last, well, so during the pandemic, I would say was really has been kind of a rest period for me to recover from just some
stuff.
some stressful things
There you
that
go.
just happened. So, but now I'm kind of like sitting and taking stock of saying, like, okay, what are the next things that I really want to like get working on, and that uh, that feels like the best use of me between God. Like, I'm just having a conversation with God, um, and I'm going to trust that, has been the case in many other times, that I just need to trust what feels like isn't work, but what feels like a spark of excitement. Because we started talking about that last week. That for me, whenever I'm on track, it feels like a spark of excitement, and it doesn't feel like work. And so I've got some ideas in mind of next places that I want to go, especially now that I'm ordained, and I've got a few projects that I would really, really love to
Mm-hmm.
like offer. So those are all. So yeah, so that's what's been on my mind, is just kind of doing some evaluation and taking stock, and like acknowledging, like, hey, it's, if people go 1,000% every single day, you're gonna burn yourself out, and you just
Yeah.
need to. So I've given myself permission to slow my roll a little bit, and do the thing that humanitarian themed people have to do, which is learn how to balance. And so I feel like I've got a much stronger foundation now with that, and I'm very excited for the things that are on my mind, that I feel are like the next step for tasks that I would like to go play with. So,
Cool. You know what? Just remember what my other specific item was that I didn't write
oh
down.
yeah, what was it?
Well, I can't. I guess you can't see it, but I have a one of those arm straps on,
Oh,
and it's like, oh, I went to the doctor's last Thursday, I think it was, and they said you have tennis elbow. I'm like,
what?
hello. I said, does that
What?
mean I don't play enough tennis or what?
Yes, I love it.
And
I love it.
that's their medical term for it is tennis elbow, and I was like, well, okay, yeah, I don't overuse, but what it comes down to is you recall the story of Sylvia's, she stubbed her toe and then she had to walk, it infected her foot and then it made her slow down because she was walking too fast, emotionally trying to get
Oh,
somewhere too fast. Well, I think I'm reaching too far too much
oh,
uh,
interesting.
to get at something. And the that's the thing that comes to mind because what is this doing to me? It's I can't reach, I can't grab as tight on things, I can't grip as easily because it's not so much the joint, it's the tendons that are hurting. It's not it doesn't feel like, well, I don't know what carpal tunnel feels like other than irritation to some people, but anyway, for my description, the doctor said it's tennis elbow, and so I think of it as I'm reaching too far at where I'm going and what I want to do, kind of thing. So it's like,
Interesting.
okay,
It's
I
just,
have to sit still. I have to-
what is accomplishable? What is achievable?
well,
What's
what do I got to stop doing, or what
what
do I
a
have to slow
Yeah,
down at? And
slow down with. Yeah.
I've been, I think part of what has caused that is, I mean, letting my arm sit by its side and still doing stressful things wouldn't cause my arm to get sore, I don't think. But the way I lean on a desk and type, and when I use a mouse, what am I doing? I lean on that arm.
Mm.
In doing that for too many hours in a day in a stressful, emotional state, that's, I think, contributes to it as far as how that happened. But the ultimately the lesson is it's I gotta like relax a bit and not be so intense. And as back to what Chris said, get out of yourself. So
It makes sense.
part of that, I guess, being so into myself, as it were, I get very, narrow focused and stressed and stick to that for too long, is what it seems like. So, anyway,
Fabulous. So, familiar theme that I'm hearing is slowing down is okay. Giving yourself permission to do that is okay.
and I
All
have to
right.
tolerate it.
Tolerate. Oh, that sounds like a
Yeah, yeah,
thing right there.
yeah,
Okay. Well, I would love to share some of our comments from viewers,
yeah.
from our community. Hello, everybody. Jill says, Tom is hilarious. I wish we all were together in person. Hello, everyone. Tom, Kat, and hopefully Floopy. Yep, he's around. I'll get him. Make sure he says hello. George, hello. I asked God for help in my life. I'm trusting the process of trusting God and wish everyone well. I think that's lovely.
Nice.
James, greetings from Tennessee. Hello. Very nice that you're here. Ramona, hello, everybody. Looking for shares. It's so good to see everyone in the comments. Thomas says, I talked aloud to Mother God, Father God, in my spirit guide. I think that's nice to like go through the act of saying it out loud. Yeah. Which I could do more. Jill says, yes, happy summer solstice. I just completed a soul clearing and soul activation live class minutes ago. Well, now we're going to talk about mystical traveler stuff, so it's going to be awesome. We've got themes going. It's great. Ramona says, it's been a very stressful week. I just kept going back to my Gnostic self. I hope that everything clears up swiftly. And that sound is Tom's yard work. Okay. Ramona says, I absolutely love the prayer. It makes so much sense. Yeah, you can kind of see where the translation is like kind of lines up with what the Lord's Prayer that we're most like more familiar with hearing. And you can see like, oh, there's just those subtle differences, those subtle nuances that make such a big difference about how loving and Gnostic this sounds. Miss LJ says, my Novus philosophy was to ask my spirit guide and direct me to my true inner self, while I in turn release remnants of ego and instead listen to the inner guidance through meditation and prayer. That is lovely. Absolutely lovely. Oh, unhelpful false ego is just, it's so much fun to deal with, I know. Leslie says, our bodies are amazing guides to our insides, and I too am learning from medical challenges. Mm-hmm. Well, blessings to you, Leslie. And Gibson, hello. I finally got a chance to listen to last week's show. I was shocked to hear Kat was very bohemian in her early life. Yes. Yes, we were. It was fun. I was a happy kid for the most part. More happy by myself and hanging out with family. Had a really good relationship with family members and with nature, and that was great. And Miss LJ, Okay, so a few people have been trying to add their name to the wait list on Patreon. I see that we do have some people who've put their names on the wait list. So we'll make sure that everyone's going to be able to be put on there. So if you can maybe send me more detail about what the issue is, and I can look into it. And I will be happy to share on in the to anyone who's a subscriber on YouTube or and also onto Facebook. I'll share the post for that prayer. I put it into a nice graphic so that everyone can have it. All right, thank you everyone for your comments. And now I think, Tom, is it time for special prayers?
Potentially, yes.
Potentially?
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, special prayers. So when we think about special prayers, we'll be thinking about leaf blowers. So, but in the meantime, whatever you're thinking about, whether you're listening now or in the future, we're all putting energy. Think of us all putting that energy in, regardless of what time listeners are listening or leaving comments or prayer requests. If you'd like it private, you can go to the website and put it on the prayer chain. If you want it public, yeah, post it on either Facebook in the comments on Facebook or on YouTube. That's always welcoming, and we're just putting that energy out for everyone. So let's take a moment of silence. We're going to ask for Mother God, the archangels, archetypes, and our guides to get out and send that energy out to those that are in need. And visualize the outcome that you think would be helpful. If it's just blanketing the earth with positive for those that are in despair, do that. If there's something specific that you've heard about, whether it's family or not, put that, visualize what you'd like to see as the outcome. And of course, we always want to ask for the greater good, because we do have lessons to learn here. But we can also minimize the effects of those lessons as well, and still get our lessons. So let's take a moment of silence while I mute myself too over here. We'll take a moment of silence, and we'll ask for that energy to get out for those that are in need. So, moment of silence. Amen.
Amen.
And of course, be the prayer. If you see a need, fill it. Let's
Double
see,
amen.
what is that? So for those of you that are streaming challenged, we do have a conference phone number you're welcome to call in on when we are live, and that number is 888-534-2696. Of course, that's while we are live. And appreciate, that you keep muted so that everybody on the conference call has a wonderful session. Now it's a fun time for trance segments.
Okay. So we're continuing talking about the mystical traveler mantle from Francine. And I'm just getting my notes pulled up here at the same time that Tom is getting everything sorted out himself. So I was doing all this other stuff to try to share that graphic around, and forgot to get myself set up here. Okay, here we go. So building equilibrium of the soul. Disregarding things we don't need to define ourselves actually makes us stronger. Conflict creates ambition within us. Listening is a great ability to learn. Talk as literal as you can with as much truth as possible. And reabsorbing to God. So Francine's going to talk about that.
All right.
When that happens, which is rare.
Notes.
If you are not ready to take on this powerful cloak of free will denouncing, I would advise you not to take it, not because anything will happen to you, but it can put you into a tailspin. It's very much like if you ever watch dancers or whirling dervishes. You say, how in the world can they twirl and not get dizzy? It is a building up of the equilibrium. Well, I call this the equilibrium of your soul. If you cannot, and this certainly is not weakness, you must remember I have been around, as you have been around since the beginning. And only up till 300 years ago in your time did I feel that I was acceptable enough in my own I am that I could live up to what the mystical traveler asks of me. Let's say the job description asks of me. Now, to say to a human being in life form, free will choice, giving up, sounds so dehumanized. It sounds so desoulized. It seems so non-entity-wise. It seems like it's such a follower. No. You see the beauty of finally disregarding all those things that we think mean so much to us. All those things that we think make up us, that makes my will so firm in saying I am who I am, becomes even greater, and I cannot explain this to you until you do it, becomes even greater than when you give it up. Your I am becomes even stronger. It's almost as if God's individual will can then flow through you without your garbage, as well as my own garbage, infiltrating. And I think sometimes that we have to be far away enough from the garbage of our lives, from what we've dealt with, from what we've been hurt by, that we can say, truly, thy will be done. Now, that doesn't mean we always have to like it, but the act is in doing it. I was sent on a mission not very long ago to some place that I did not want to go. Even though I am Sylvia's guide, I know you might find this to be tremendously esoteric, but we can bilocate. But being her guide, because of her responsibilities, I don't like to do that because I split my essence. But nevertheless, because I had taken on the mystical traveler, I had to go to this other, and I will tell you, it was like the outer limits of something. That's all I'm at liberty to tell you. It wasn't an evil. It was just that they needed a lot of people to protect something that was going on in another part of the planet. And those of us that were mystical travelers, lucky us, we got to go. For a moment, there was a fleeting disruption in my mind. My job is here. I must communicate. I must do. They can get along without me. You will say to me, Francine, do you mean to tell me that you in the marvelous, complete, loving place are still in conflict? Somewhat. We always will be in conflict to what is right for our soul. Because if we're not in conflict to what is right for our soul, we're going to be blobs. You see, the individuality of constantly striving to be better creates a ferocious challenge and ambition within us. To come to my side, heaven, the other side, paradise, is wondrous. The soul is filled to the top, but the challenge of getting better is still there. The challenge and the ambition to keep surviving onward, to keep making it better, to rise to another level, to be a great nouveau, to be the best of the mystical travelers. If it weren't for that, then there would be no challenge. There would not constantly be an ongoing acknowledgement of the God that means to experience with us. But I can tell you this with all assuredness, it is a sublime manifestation of even irritation, but it has such grandeur to it. See, when you speak about irritation in this life, you think of really irritated. It's not the same. It is the soul challenging itself. We don't challenge each other. We're not jealous of each other. We're not vengeful of each other. We're not unforgiving of each other. We're very, very external as well as being internal. And we have learned to listen. We have learned to listen. The greatest faculty that you can learn while you're in life is to listen. You hear, but when we're in life, we do not listen. And we only listen with our own reference points. We only hear with our own reference points. We do not listen to the sometimes a greater truth. And that is a learned ability that takes many centuries and oftentimes many lives. Even you sitting there listening to me will go away with a myriad of different options of what I've said. Any conversation. Someone will be sitting exactly beside you and hear something, and the other person will say, that's not what I heard. That's not what I thought it meant. The thing that we must start doing is talking as literal as we possibly can, with as much truth as we possibly can, so that those that don't necessarily hear us possibly will listen to us. Will listen to the mystical traveler. So if you have asked for the mystical traveler's mantle to drop, be aware that it's not fun and games, but it is a blessed mantle. Now, what the mantle does is protect you greatly, more than it does the mission life entity. It protects you from a lot, I should say, of the evil that abounds. It also has a faculty to enclose and encompass you, to give you a great amount of peace. But it also rattles you to get out there even more and to help. It rubs you until you do. But it is sublime. What I'm saying is I'm giving you permission to take it off if you want, to put it on if you want, but I want to tell you what it entails. With a mystical traveler then, after each lifetime, can then go before council and then petition, or usually it's already in an awarded situation that you've been through this and helped people, is that then you can ascend to the next ring of being a Nouvelite. Everything is reward. It must be. There is no reason for a child to learn a spelling bee if it does not get a star. And God, above all, in omnipotent knowledge, knows that. For every one of the minions of his loved ones, he and his merciful, she and her merciful creation have known that every piece of God needs to keep aspiring to its total experience. Will there ever come a time when you are so full of experience that you get sopped up in the uncreated mass? No. You are the tiny shining balls that roll through infinity, that gather all the beauty and all the glitter until you become a huge, gigantic ball. But you still are you. The only people that ever get absorbed are the ones that wish to be. But I can tell you truthfully, I have found in all the universes that I have traveled, and you all can travel, not just me, you will find very few that want to go behind the seventh. The seventh veil is the one in which people wish to go to after they die. Some do want to be absorbed in the uncreated mass. And of course, that's what happens to ultimate evil at the very end of a schematic, is those that do not want to follow suit, that are very, what we might term as evil actions, are absorbed into the uncreated mass. Now, I have never been ever smart enough, nor hope to be smart enough to know God's mind. Will at some point God then spew them out again as these sparklers from the divine spark? I don't know that. I honestly do not know whether they will ever be given individuality again.
Now, there's something to chew on in your brain. It's a lot of philosophical. How does this all fit? And I wanted to give an analogy for those that might be new or haven't quite figured or don't get a sense of what does it mean to let go, to put your ego aside and allow that mantle to be part of you. And what comes to my mind, it's following the adage of let go and let God. Okay, some
Hmm.
people may not understand, or get a sense, but an analogy might be is forgive and forget. So think of something. This is an example now. Think of something that has happened to you that you are holding a grudge for towards somebody. Somebody offended you. Somebody did something, and whether it was, as an adult or as a child. Usually, a child, that can be conflicting. And but think of that event, and how do you feel about it now? Is it still an irritation when you come up to that person? Is that what pops to mind for you? Um, Maybe you haven't let it go, and that's fine. It's just that's the kind of thing you got to learn to let. It's that style or that process of identifying those things and letting them go. So that's for me. That's the example of letting the ego go, and being available and ready and accepting the mantle.
Hmm. I think that makes a lot of sense. One that um, two thoughts that I have that are related to this is when I've needed to get my ego like into just a better space because I was a hot mess when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I really, and I've talked about this before, but I think that I just can't, I can't tell you like how useful, I can't emphasize like enough how useful this was to me to get my head in the right place. Is
Mm-hmm.
I just started doing what Sylvia said of like, if you don't have friends, go be a friend to someone else. If you are lonely and someone's loneliness. And so I just started doing good deeds without, and like told myself, you're doing a good deed and you are not expecting anything in return. Do the good deed and flee. Get out. Just get out so that there isn't any like waiting around wondering like, am I going to get acknowledged for this nice thing that I did? And
Mm-hmm.
so that's like I was forcing myself to start a practice of actually doing as much as I could to keep my ego from even having a say.
Mm-hmm.
And it did start to heal over time because then my focus started to be more and more on being kind to others, do the right thing, do the right thing, do the right thing, be kind, be of service. And that felt good. And that was finally the ticket that I needed to get that, to start letting go of this like wounded feeling that I was always keeping around of like, gosh, like this unfair thing just keeps happening. Like that was unfair and that was
Right.
unfair and that was
Right.
unfair. Because it wasn't necessarily an evil in feeling that way. There's nothing evil about that, but it wasn't of service to me. And it was keeping me in this very like inward facing space that just wasn't helpful. And I didn't like it. And I felt very fragile and I hated it. And so I was like, no, we got to stop this. This mentality, we've got to move on from this somehow. So I made it a practice, do a good deed and then flee. and that and then finally things started to stabilize. So that
And that's
was
the fun.
yeah.
Looks like a fun, clear method of preventing yourself from doing those past actions. So you're, doing something else, creating a new habit, as it were,
Hmm.
which is, yeah. Well, and you know what? You brought up the interesting point. When I do something nice for others, I don't know why, but um, I don't get the euphoric. Oh, that was cool thing or feel good. It's like, oh, okay, that was another job that was needed to be done. So,
Mm.
um, I which I'm not sure why or how, but that's just
Some
me. I
people
don't.
are more that way. Yeah, it's fine. I think that people should feel good about themselves doing good deeds, but you have to really, but I noticed that you do have to kind of manage the feelings that come with that because there is a risk of like of like
Oh,
of it. Yeah, like I'm amazing. I'm really, really cool, guys.
that's
I
yeah,
did a
yeah.
thing.
The
It's like, ah,
specialness of self.
specialness of self,
Yeah.
exactly. So it leads to, so I'm gonna talk about one other thing that this whole conversation reminded me of really quick, and that is another thing that I've found to be very helpful for myself to get past something is to ask myself, okay, do I want to be right now, or do I want to be effective?
Mm-hmm.
I'm really honest with myself. Usually I want to be effective. Sometimes I want to be right. We
Yeah.
often want to be right with our spouses, and that's not helpful.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's not getting us what we want. Do you want to be right, or do you want to be effective? So,
Another point to that is um how much energy, how much of your emotional energy do you want to spend?
absolutely. Absolutely. Because one of those routes has a ton of emotional energy and upset and upheaval.
That you're spending energy on. Yeah.
Hmm. It's like if I need to vent, I'm going to go call my therapist, call a friend, call somebody else. I, I do not want to cause stress to my loved ones. And so I want to make sure that I'm coming from a place where my intellect and my emotion are feeling like they're uh,
Oh,
on the
yeah.
same-ish page.
That's
So
one. The other one is how do you how do you vent road rage? You're driving down the road and it's like okay, you're getting bombarded, or sometimes I'm like, oh, how dare you get in front of me, cut me off like that, or no, you can't get in front of me, and pull up to the next car, and it's like Francine had mentioned. I recall her saying about just envision them with a dunce hat on, sitting in a corner, and
that's
I
hilarious.
my 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 dunce hat is a little more elaborate, and I'm not sure I should mention what I put on their head and say okay.
Hilarious. That's hilarious.
So it's a little more
It's not
elaborate
doing
than a
any harm.
dunce hat. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, it's too funny. Diana asks, "What does that mean, Diana? If you can clarify a little bit more what you're
Asking. We just
asking, would be
mentioned
happy
several
to."
things, so we're
Yeah,
like,
so sorry, so sorry. Um, and then uh, Narcissa says, "I want to be effective." Good job. High five.
cool.
Um, and then someone also says, and Narcissa also says, I think she means I'm an introvert. It's hard to stay around folks. I uh, if you so I really really love Sylvia's book that's underneath a pile of other books in front of my monitor that you can't see. But she's got one of her books of, oh gosh, which one is it? It's the purple book, but all of them are purple. So gosh, I'm trying to find it. If you can see what I see, if you can see what I see.
Oh,
So in it, she taught one of the chapters, she talks about being around people who are draining. And this is true for anyone. So you don't need to label yourself like I am a hardcore introvert. I'm a hardcore extrovert. This is the way that I always am. There are people out there who are just draining for all of us. And so if someone is draining for you, you just, like, we don't need that. But
stay away. Yeah.
yeah, but we also, all of us, introverts, extroverts, however we want to say it, all of us have people that do fill up our bucket. And so those are the relationships that I find to be the most helpful for me to just foster and focus on, because there are periods in my life where I'm like, I am very much an extrovert, and other times where I'm like, I hate everything. I'm staying in my house. I'm not leaving. So I think that people can be more flexible if we're
Being
looking at, like, is someone draining you or is someone filling up your bucket? So I don't know. Those are just my thoughts.
and the encouragement is no, you don't have to be the party animal, but
Now,
don't be the wallflower either.
yes,
Where's that balance for you? And yes, it seems more challenging for introverts to be social, especially when you're surrounded by drainers. so,
Oh yeah,
um, so yeah,
yeah.
you just
Go
find
find people on
your
your vibe, on your
right,
vibe. Go find
right.
people who are your vibe, and
Cool. Did that person update themselves or answer what the heck we didn't understand?
I don't see anything yet.
All right.
But
Oh,
Diana, if you do, we'd be happy to answer your question best we can. Give it our best shot. Reverend Yvonne Dillsworth is here. Hello, Reverend Yvonne, and she
Reverend
says,
Yvonne's in the house. Woo woo.
"Yes, yes, Queen." She says, "I push more towards being happy than being right. It's something I had to learn. How important is it?" Mm-mm-mm. I like that idea. Push towards being happy rather than being right. And I think it seems like there's kind of like a what's going to be on the other end of this situation that's going to
Yeah,
lead to
it's kind of like
happiness.
it's agreeing to disagree.
Yeah, yeah.
It's okay
Some
to
grace there.
to
Yeah.
disagree, and however you verbalize that, however you present that, it's just uh, um, maybe it's just like okay, they're they're not going to accept what I'm talking about, so I'm just going to leave it at that.
hmm
What's
Uh,
next?
what's next? And
Yeah.
Julie asks question. I have to log off in a few minutes. Will live be on YouTube or available to watch later? Absolutely, Julie. It'll be here for whenever is convenient and for you. And we look forward to sending you love in
And
the
you're
meantime.
jumping off at 52 minutes, so that's where you can come back to
Smart.
quickly
Very,
find
very smart.
again.
All right. So we have for our next segment, darkness in a good organization can arise through ego and me. Mystical travelers will never be destitute. Don't get caught in someone else's garbage because you don't usually know enough about someone's history. And lastly, respond to yourself and to God. That's who to
Cool.
respond to. All right.
Here we go.
But I do know that anyone who aspires to go into the seventh, into the uncreated mass of God's mind, now you're still individual in God's mind, but you don't have a body and you don't have a glorified soul as an individual entity. You're part of the mass. But I don't know of many that do that. But we have mission life entities, and this is what Sylvia always refers to as the lightning bolt people that come in. These are the shell crackers. These are the ones that come in with prophecy, with beauty, with knowledge. And the tragedy is that we're seeing that this movement, even of Novus, is becoming so accelerated, even by phone calls and study groups and other churches springing up. That we're finding that we're amazed at the fact that even some people are, because it's becoming so large, can even find yourself being manipulated by darkness, as Sylvia was saying. But I don't think you realize how much you can be. And I don't mean turning into killers. I'm talking about the me business. That's where darkness can get you, rather than looking at the greater whole of the good. It would be very much like feeding the poor or the hungry. You say, well, I'll eat and then I'll give them something to eat. Be careful of that. It's much better for you that you let them eat and then see what you have to eat. Mystical traveler also carries with it the fact that you will never be destitute. I don't know how to explain that to you, and I'm not sure how it works, but I do know that anyone that's taken on the mystical traveler robe has never been destitute. I think that's something, if nothing else, a selling point, especially in life. If I had known all this when I lived in life in 1500, I might have taken it on just for that, because I had even though at one point, up until I was 12, I had a very elitist life, but from 12 to 19, when the conquistadores came in, I did not, and I was killed at 19. But I think that if I'd known that then, I think I might have taken that on just out of self-preservation to live in the world. But I don't mean to make it a smirky type of thing that I will just put this on and then flop it off whenever I wish, because when it descends, it's got a lot of glue on it. And it also demands that you do give up your free will, not to a church, not to another individual, but to a greater good. If it happens to be a Gnostic movement that is a greater, but it really is between you and God. It really is the contract that goes directly from your will to God's will. And coming together as a group makes it even stronger, whatever group you may be. But at least make it a group in which you love God and you don't fear God. Yes?
What would be the symptom somebody has when they've asked for the mantle too soon?
That's a very good question. If they've asked for the mantle too soon, they become sometimes of aberrant behavior.
Elaborate on the aberration.
The aberrant behavior can be absolutely almost cutting their own throat. In other words, they, well, it's very much like, have you ever seen, I'm sure many of you have been in business, somebody will be elected to a position, and they're so thrilled about it, they've wanted it so long, but they're not ready for it. So they almost defect on what they really wanted the most.
So they implement their own failure.
And the main thing, I think, is people don't realize how much power their words carry. And I think it's a very, I was listening to something that Enid and Sylvia were discussing one day, and I often wondered myself, why can't people just be quiet sometimes? Why can't they just be still? Maybe what someone else has to say could be of merit, even if they don't like it. Any other questions before I go on? Very quiet today. Yes.
Francine, you said that when we go to the other side, that we take our desires and our experiences with us.
Absolutely.
On this side, when we access the desires in a dream state of time, do we on the other side have something similar to a dream state on this side?
I don't know the question. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Do we have dreams and hopes on the other side?
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, absolutely. We aspire to get to the highest level of to being a Nuvoite, a mystical traveler that we can be. Absolutely.
How do we access? I mean, in this state, what I'm saying on this plane, we have dreams.
Yes.
Is it just on the other side, is it visible to us without dreams?
Absolutely.
Okay, that's what
Absolutely. It's tangible.
tangible, that's the word.
It's taste and smell and feel and don't ever think that a Nuvoite on the rings. Now don't just think you're standing up there on little rings balancing on little gold rings. No, it actually is a beautiful place. What you do when you leave as a mystical traveler, mission life entity, you check into the other side. And when you check into the other side, hi, kiss, kiss, happy, love, glad to see you, and then you go on your journey to check into to Novus, or Nuvoite. Novus.
I know. You chose it for that reason.
To Nuvo. Because you want to check in. And then you're fully, because most of your friends have been either in this, because most of you are from the Andromeda strain anyway, most of you will check into this side and come back from Nuvo and then stay on this side or go into some of the planetary other sides of Andromeda. Now, I'm told by council and some of the great White Brotherhood, the great teachers, Aristotelian, some of the greatest minds that have gone onward studying theology, although they've negated most of what they wrote here, but that's neither here nor there.
It's depressing.
Is that they say that they're firmly convinced that eventually in the final schematic, if there ever is one, so to speak, at least the ending of life's planes, reincarnation schematic, is that all the other sides blend together. All of them. So all the other sides from Andromeda, Pleiades, Sagittarius, Crab Nebula, whatever, they all become one. Then, they say, the whole scenario could start again. We don't know if it's going to be in the same way that it will be, but there will be a continuum of perfection forever and ever and ever. We do know this schematic has been rough. We do know that the people that have come down here has been the roughest. I told this to Sylvia when she was 7 years old, and she was a little girl in Kansas City, Missouri. I kept telling her, this is the insane asylum of the universe. The thing you don't want to do, though, when you're a mystical traveler, is you can help as much as you can. Do as much good as you can. But you really walk a higher rope. It's not a tight rope, but you walk a higher rope, and you will find that the things that used to bother you, thank dear God, literally, do not bother you anymore. That's one of the benefits. And also make very sure, even if you're not a mystical traveler, don't get caught in someone else's karma. Don't get caught in someone else's stuff. This, whether you're mission or whether you're just an entity that wants to do good, don't get caught in somebody else's fracas, because you're going to step into a pit of karma that has nothing to do with you. I know many times you want to heal and do good and make well, but the problem is with most all individuals, you don't know enough history to get stuck in the middle of being a peacemaker or a helper. And the only entity, it sounds so selfish, that you have to respond to is yourself and your God. That's it.
Talk about food for thought in evolving yourself. I didn't get any two bits on that, other than it's helpful to review and hear it again.
I was muted. Okay, cool. So I think that I was thinking of real world examples when Francine said that we don't have enough history to be effective at like getting involved in someone else's karma. So I was thinking of times where just on the national stage you see someone who doesn't know anything about another region. They go in and try to fix everything, and everyone there is like, what are you doing? You don't know what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
who are you? Like, who are you? You don't know any, just don't know the history. So I thought that was an interesting point that Francine pointed out. It's like, oh yeah, it makes sense that even on like an individual level of getting into someone else's problem, we don't know the full history, and that's where it can be better to encourage someone to get a good counselor type person for themselves, to someone who's trained and has that time to get into the history of the person a little bit more. So
Well, help both sides. The counseling is about, I look at it as counseling is like helping both sides work together versus a third person coming in and saying you should do it this way.
exactly, yeah. Beware of anyone anyone who's a therapist is telling you how to live your life, or telling you how to fix X, Y, and Z. It's really like, what is it that is important to the two parties to talking about their own values, and what is it that you want, and
encouraging both parties to work together versus and there are suggestions on how to do that, ways to encourage that, and ultimately it's like, okay, do you want to be right or productive?
I love that so much. Oh man. Oh gosh, this whole talk is just absolutely fascinating about mystical traveler and the mantle. It's making me think about how it's making me think about how I might want to continue to meditate on my own path and my own responsibilities and kind of how I'm using mystical travel mantle or mantle and how that's going. So it's good reflection. But I just think that's really, really interesting that it's like we have a relationship to the different vows that we take.
Yeah.
And I haven't really thought of it that way, but we have a relationship to the vow that you take as a, like in marriage. You have a relationship to the vow that you have as like a daughter or a parent to a child. You have there's this sort of relationship in terms of like, what does it mean to you and how invested are you into the vow? And I thought it was insightful hearing Francine recently say that she's like, people take vows too lightly. If you take a vow, you really have to, take it seriously. And so I've been thinking about that. It's good.
Nice.
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah. Cool. Anybody external comments? People making comments. So otherwise, we got to jump on to the next segment too.
Right. Yvonne says, I've become very skilled at giving suggestions and let people make their own choice. Fabulous. Miss LJ says, so are we the guinea piglets?
In a sense, yes.
In a sense, yeah. It sounds like the other side learns a lot from us just living our life. Yeah.
Observing
us.
Living
our life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, those are most of the comments, and it's great. And now let's get on to the last segment of this, which is super interesting. Really talking about the mantle and how to use it, how to talk to the mantle, and how to talk to God about the mantle. Here we go. So, respecting others for their deeds. Lack of respect to other entities can be the mantle not present or the mantle too tight. You can say, keep this mantle off until I have the mission life entity thing straight. You can also say, let me try the mantle for a month. And lastly, I love this part so much. Your will is God's will. It's not different.
Cool.
All right. Cool.
All right, here we go.
Hopefully others behind you, around you, in front of you, on the sides of you will follow. But there's only one representative that you really give homage to. And that is Almighty God. But I am very adamant about people that represent what God's word is to having some respect. And that means for you sitting in the audience for each other. Having respect for each other for being a mission life entity. For the walk that you've walked and the talk that you've talked. Or even in the ministerial body who have worked so hard. Respect for those people who've really given up their lives for the cloth, as Sylvia calls it. And people who have gained great recognition to have respect. Wouldn't if you had Einstein walk in the room right now and you had Edison walk in the room, wouldn't you show a great deal of respect? And why would you? Why would you show any more respect for that person than you would, let's say, Joe Smith or whoever? Why would you?
Contribution.
That's right. And you as an entity showing your courtesy on what they have given humanity. I myself, on my side, not bow literally, but bow my soul to these entities that respectfully, as she said so aptly, have given to people. And out of that, there is a respect issue that I am very adamant. And one person in general that I am tremendously upset with who has not shown respect, and that's my word on that, if Jim is in this room, is that I am terribly. Is Jim in this room? No. All right. Well, somebody might relate to him what I've said. So, in the Mystical Traveler, the beauty of rising above all and it really does, it takes you on wings, like the song says, of a great white bird, which is a symbol of the Holy Spirit. It takes you up higher to a level of spirituality. And then respectfulness should be paid to you also. That's the way it goes. It's very much like saying to a child, have respect for your elders. And then you get to a point that you will always have respect for someone that's higher than you. Yes?
Would a lack of respect be also a symptom of the mantle's too soon?
Yes.
And possibly...
or the mantle too tight.
Too tight.
Yes. And what it causes, you see, that's why I don't want you to think it's a dangerous thing. But the mantle too soon or too tight, or you haven't really given up enough of your I am to be a mission-like entity, because that takes a long time in itself. Mm-hmm. It causes an aberrant behavior. It's like too much chicken, too much watermelon, too much anything, too much before the time. It's wrong. And it's perfectly all right to say to God, please lift the mantle off until I get this mission life entity thing straight. If I have been all these years on the other side, you see, I've only had one life. Only one life on this planet. There have been other lives on other planets. Only one life as an Aztec Inca girl. And all this time, being from infinity's time, I wasn't ready to take the mantle on until 300 years ago, your time. I wasn't. I wasn't ready to give up my will. Even now I have a little quirks about it, but I go. I go. Because the joy of my will being more ingrained through God's will. See, don't ever think God's will is opposite from your will. It is totally individual will. God's will is individually your will. See, that's something you've never been told or you really know in your heart of hearts. It's almost like when we give up our will, we think we're giving up our self, our I am, our id, our libido to this nebulous force that will just come and swoop down on us and will be automated by whatever. Oh no. We become more ourself, we become more deeply ingrained in us, we become more assured of us, we become more guaranteed that we're on the right road, we become more vow conscious, more oath conscious. Yes, we do. Yes.
So what I'm hearing is that you, as a mystical traveler, were sent on a mission still though on your side. So you don't need to incarnate to be a mystical traveler.
Oh no. No, when once that mantle drops and you really say, I want it to stay on, I don't care if I get crazy with it, I don't care if I get itchy with it, but keep it on me and I'll roll with whatever coaster that I'm thrown on. It'll stay. And it'll take you to the other side.
And you don't need to be incarnate to enact.
Oh no, you once the mantle drops and you cement it on and you give that will up to God, you will be a mystical traveler through every life, through every other side, through every, yes. Because it is the White Brotherhood. You know this mystical word you've always maybe heard? The White Brotherhood. People whisper in quiet corners. That is the White Brotherhood. It is the White Brotherhood. Doesn't mean your color. It's a soul's color. It is a soul's color. My coloring, people have asked, somebody, and this brought it to mind, I never listened into Sylvia's readings, because sometimes they're just, even for me, they're so harsh, they're so hard. I don't know how she does it day after day, but nevertheless, my coloring is very much like hers, right here in front of me. My coloring is like her. I'm dark like her, my hair is the same color as her, except I'm 5'9", but our face structure and everything is almost identical. If there's anyone would ask you, what does Francine look like? Point to her. Point to her.
Francine,
Yes.
I have a question in regard to when. No, I forgot.
When we go to the other side and we go to Nouveau,
No, it had to do with so it's not.
it'll be there in a minute. Don't try to think about it. Don't try to think about it. It'll come. Yes.
As a mystical traveler in the human body, does our communication with the other side and our guides?
Oh, absolutely. Increases. Increases. I don't even want to say 100-fold. It's more than that. It's more than that. It's probably 1,000-fold.
How do you understand what you're supposed to be doing?
Just ask for it. It's very much like when you came into this life, and I'm not trying to be facetious. How did you know when you were hungry?
That would be to me more of a body function.
But there's soul functions that are instinctual. But it's very like that. You know that there's a certain hunger in the soul. There's something that pivots you. Or when you get tired, you know that you're sleeping. The soul has very much, it doesn't get sleepy, it doesn't get hungry, but it knows that there's more that it wants.
Is there a test?
For mystical traveler,
Yeah.
only you and God make the contract. And you have every right to say, God, let it drop for a month in your time or whatever, and see how I deal with it. But once you say, God, I want it to drop, and I want it to be glued in place, part of my soul, it stays, then you're in for the ride. You're in for the ride even if you let it drop for 6 months. I'd let it drop for a month just to see what it was like. Now, there is a difference between entities and when we're on the other side. When once we accept it on my side, we can't do that skippy number. You can in life.
And I had to think about this, but an analogy of the for those that may not, I guess, have created a concept for themselves of the mantle being on too tight or too soon. The joke that came to mind was, and I had to think, hopefully this is being respectful, but it's kind of like this. Mommy, my pigtails are too tight. So keep keep that analogy in mind. That, how does that affect you when things are, too tight? You weren't quite ready for it. Your pigtails are too tight, and you're stressing over it. So yeah, you can ask for it to be released or relaxed, but no, keep in mind that you want that goal. That's resonating in you. That's the goal. Reflecting on that, I've recently recalled what I'm personally struggling with is the fear. I recall thinking about, I want to do, full-time ministerial stuff, and one of the first things that came to mind was, oh my God, I don't want to be poor in the process. And that sort of stuck with me, which has created drive into doing some other things. But then I get this fear and guilt of, okay, am I spending my time properly? That, as far as on a spiritual sense, and that's getting back to, again, what Chris said, getting out of myself. So, I have to remind myself. One, you can't be doing out of fear, and because sometimes that's leading you off course, as it were. You're not what's our term? On track. Thank you. And I've got to put the visual back in mind of I've had. It brings emotional. Because of its impact, I have to bring back the memory and the visualization into this to remind me that, yes, it is possible to put the two together, to have enough, do the ministerial, but also have enough to well, as she said, not be destitute, as it were. The visual that I wanted to recall and share with you was when I remember started, programming. We're supposed to program to get things and ask for things, and my previous wife and I were like visualizing um, um, a pickup truck. We wanted a pickup truck, and I sat down with myself and I said, okay, I want to try a diesel, but I want an automatic, and oh, by the way, we want 4-door, and we want a long bed. Um, I wanted to try a new diesel, and okay, that seemed kind of simple, but then my former wife had this argument about, yeah, but it's got to have roll up windows. I'm like, oh, hello, who has roll up windows nowadays? You got to be electric, and she was very adamant, and I understand why, because it's a safety thing when you've lived and come from Montana. And even I just saw in the news somebody got caught in their car and they had to survive in their car in the snow. So that's where that fear comes from and the desire. I need roll up windows, to get out of the car. And I'm like, oh my God, how are we going to get electric and roll up windows? So, I kind of worried about it and I said, okay, show me how this is going to work. Months later, we're looking at cars, used cars for sale, and somebody's selling a Ford pickup. I didn't want dualies. This is the 3/4. Oops, hello. We just lost somebody, but she'll come back in a minute. uh, show on stream. Wow, this is entertaining.
Huh.
Yeah, hide on stream. Why is that one on? Man, everything just went cattywampus on us here. But hey, we're still back. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
It can.
Okay, good. Well, we look good on YouTube, so that's all that's important. But I didn't touch the buttons, but somebody I think is trying to tell us something. But anyway,
This
to
is
try and
right at climax of
finish
the
up the
story. Here we
story.
go. Mm-hmm.
So a couple months go by, and I've stopped worrying about. But we know what we want. No dually wheel. It's diesel, automatic, and so we find this used truck and for sale. So we go and look at it. What brings me to tears is the fact that okay, we're looking around. This is really cool, nice looking. It's clean. It's automatic. It's 4-wheel drive. And I get in the truck and I go, oh, it's got electric windows. Really cool. And I lean over the bench seat, the front bench seat, and look in the back. And I look on the doors, and it's got roll-up windows. And I go, oh my God, really? I didn't know that existed. And I thought,
That is
yeah, so
amazing. That is extremely specific.
yeah.
Wow.
So, if you don't believe, it's, ask for things like that. It's like, oh my God. Anyway, that's my things that keep me hooked.
Yeah. God, that's incredible.
So anyway, I got to pull that visual in to say, okay, how do I can incorporate, how do we do it? And that's letting go and letting God, as it were. To say, oh, it's not impossible. We don't know how it's going to happen. And again, it's asking for being specific, not asking for I got to have money to do it. No, ask for what you want to have happen, and then sit back and follow through. Be there, be available, because it's not going to knock on your door.
Visualizing that destination, asking for the destination, articulating it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. The
Gosh,
experience,
that's
as it
incredible.
were, because it's for what is it? For wording's sake, we don't have destinations, we have journeys. So
Mhm.
it's what's the goal? What do you want to accomplish?
Mm. That's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Thank you, Asna. Thank you, universe. Thank you, spirit guides. Looking
Any
out for us.
fun comments that are shared, or are we gonna jump into the next?
Everyone was laughing at your.
Oh,
It's too
yeah.
tight.
That's one of my,
Everyone was laughing.
that was one of my favorite. There's two other jokes that go with that, but we'll play that in another time.
Gibson says, that was me literally when I was younger. Ramona says, I used to do that joke, but Tom does it better. That was amazing. Tom, you're hilarious. Oh, Gibson says, I learned so much from listening to you two with your life experiences. It's helping me make some decisions for myself. And God bless.
Good.
Love listening to your stories too. George says, let go and let God. Ramona, Reverend Tom, you are so endearing, ain't he? Ain't he though? Just melts my heart. Old School says, I saw a purple screen freeze, and purple's my favorite color, so that's
It's okay. Yeah.
good. Yeah.
So did I.
Funny. Mm-hmm. And Thomas says, glad you shared that, Reverend Tom. So, amazing
Cool.
story. Yeah.
Do we want to meditate?
I would love to hear a meditation.
All right. So for
Give
those of
Father
you that are
God's
new,
energy.
now's a good time to, we encourage you people to sit with your feet flat on the floor and your palms upward on your lap to receive that wonderful healing energy. You know, take a moment, find yourself a comfortable place to sit. And I've been learning that I got to be a little more conscious than I normally am. Somnambulism, it's only on a personal that I think you get more benefit the when you're conscious. It's not that you're fully awake. You're in a meditative state, but you're conscious of the visualizations.
Present enough. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it can be more beneficial than if you're somnambulistic, meaning you're like out like a light. You still can get benefit from those things, but I think being somewhat conscious, so you're visualizing what the meditation is about. I personally think that can be more powerful. Now, if you need to pay attention to what you're doing, don't pay attention to us at this time, but by all means come back and listen to the wonderful meditations in the on-demand and when it's appropriate for you. And for the rest of us, now I gotta, after that dissertation, I gotta go find what we're gonna, yeah, here we go. Let's try this. All right, enjoy. Find a nice place to sit upright, with your feet flat on the floor and your hands up on your lap. Now, take 3 deep breaths to start relaxing the mind and body. And now close your eyes when you are ready.
This one is called the duality. I want to discuss a basic truth that is too often ignored. Meditate on the following during the coming week and see if it does not change your entire outlook on life. It is this: everything in nature is reproduced dually. All the ancients understood the power of duality. Only Earth's patriarchal societies have created unbalancing schisms. If there is a father god, then there is a mother god. If there is a divine male principle, then there is a divine female principle. It must be so. Think back to all the times when you've heard that humanity was created in the image and likeness of God. Surely this concept of duality has occurred to you. If you want to become more psychic or increase your control over a creative force, you must come to grips with a point that your individual makeup is both feminine and masculine. Furthermore, if you are in a female body and you're made of the mother principle, then this has even greater ramifications. We must recognize that each and every woman and man must pray to and give homage and respect to both the feminine and the masculine principles. Of course, this is outside of us. Reciprocation is a spiritual necessity. If you do not aspire to glorify and strengthen both the feminine and masculine principles, you're only going to make yourself lopsided. Then you will never truly move ahead spiritually.
And now, on the count of 3, bring yourself all the way up, back to full consciousness. 1, 2, 3. Fully and totally awake. We didn't disappear. That's a pretty good deal. Here, I'll help. There you go.
Thank you. Duality of the universe.
Yeah, I was thinking in terms of a reminder of, not only cementing our emotion and intellect, but also from spiritual to physical. The physical being the emotion, and the spiritual being the intellect. That you ask that to be cemented, but also what's the right word? Intellect to be in control. We want to, the upside down pyramid. We want to be utilizing from our higher self, and not so much from the physical side of things. So not so much influence from the physical side of things. And of course, if you have any questions about what we shared, feel free to post in chat or email us questions to kat@novus.org or tom@novus.org. And of course, we appreciate listeners, both live and on demand. Show your appreciation for New Spirit Radio by sharing, promoting, liking, and subscribing. Find our websites like novus.org, sylviabrowne.com, and chrisrightnow.com. Yes, for those that are on Facebook, they know where we are. For those that are on YouTube, you know where we are, but you can also find us on the other platforms. We've got Society of Novus Spiritus, Sylvia Browne Group, New Spirit Radio. Yeah, I think that's still there, but it's on pause. And of course, several Novus Spiritus study groups. On YouTube, yes, we've got Society of Novus Spiritus, and Chris has Psychic Awareness. Really fun, things to learn about on there as well. Let's see, we've got that. You can start a study group. You'll learn more about our philosophy. And yes, we provide a newsletter as well as monthly Sunday services. And yeah, for your enjoyment. So lots of variety of resources for spiritual knowledge. Let's see. Yes, I guess I'm going to be due here for a Sunday service to post on YouTube and Facebook.
Woohoo.
Yeah, I see more people viewing those over time. And if you'd like to participate in a live Sunday service, you can put your email on the website, and you'll should get an invitation to Reverend Ellen Schloss's her special Zoom service. So there's a special Zoom service, but there's also a closed Facebook group where they do the live Sunday service, post the live Sunday service from Nevada. Not Reno, no, Las Vegas, Nevada. And for those that want to add something, here's I was talking about the novena, the special prayer service. For new, jeez, I need to scrub something or do something. My voice, or else I'm going through puberty again.
This is lots of feelings today. It's okay.
Yeah. Well, it's just my voice is cracking. It's not so much the emotional influence of it. It's anyway. For those of you that are new, the novena, it's a special prayer service where we're going to say a phrase together. And I'll lead, but we'll say it together. And we'll say it 3 times. And after we ask for things, whether it's for ourselves or others, and I'll let you know after each of those segments. But visualize all of us together. We're holding hands in a really large room, and we're saying this together. And the phrase is, I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. So we'll say that together 3 times, and then I'll let you know what to be asking for after each of those sessions or segments. All right, here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for yourself. Okay, here we go. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, ask for things for others. Okay, and the last one. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. I am God. I am part of God. I am God. All things are possible because I am God. Now, picture our light going out like a beacon for others seeking this spiritual knowledge, so we can share with them. And of course, show your appreciation. Think of something that you're appreciative of, and carry that through the week, because that really adjusts your mental attitude, the appreciation of things. And in the meantime, show your appreciation to Francine and Raheem for researching all of this wonderful knowledge. of course, Sylvia, for coming to this insane asylum of the universe to start this movement and for showing us how to get some peace of mind and grace while we're here. And of course, Asna for helping us and protecting us. And Father God for providing the most prestigious school for us to experience, learn, and satisfy our unique spark of curiosity. And I appreciate Bob Ingle for some of the graphics and working with some of the audio, helping with the audio. And of course, Sammy and Javon for the wonderful intro, outro music for us. And for the show, writing, setup, and hosting is Reverend Catherine Taylor. Editing, technical direction, and hosting is Reverend Tom Bigley. And now a prayer by Sylvia. Oops. No, I don't want to add a camera. What am I doing? There we go. It's a share button. That's what I need to do. Where are we here?
I love buttons.
Especially when they look the same. All right. That looks better. All right. Prayer by Sylvia.
Prayer for spiritual baptism. Let it be known that God is not only with us, He is in us. His life is infused into all. Embrace His love as you trust that His power is real in your daily life. Let us pray. Lord, keep us in the stream of your Holy Spirit so that the flow will saturate our lives. We thank you for working in us so that we can live in you. The Spirit Himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of God. God's Spirit leads and convicts us. The fruit of this Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Amen.
Kat's going to tell us.
Happy birthday, Jesus. And we love you, God. We love each other.
Nice.
Good night.
Good night.
For so long we have ignored you, as if you were not there. All praise went to the Father. We were so unaware that through the years you've shed your tears for all the pain we bear. Oh, Asna, how we love you. Place no one above you. Always thinking of you. Bless your name. You are Mother God. You've planted every blade of grass, creator of the stars. And when I'm feeling down and out, you mend my broken heart. So now I sing this song of thanks because of who